Everybody, when we walk with the Lord. When we walk with the Lord in the night.
It's Sunday in Lagos, Nigeria, and it's time for church. I've come to this delightfully neon house of worship with a certain degree of reluctance. But when one of Africa's tech titans invites you to his church, you say yes.
I have to warn you, I come from a long line of atheists. I'm not...
It's okay.
Not
that is exactly who we need at church. Just experience it, and then that's it. You know, no miracles.
Your love is so wonderful. Your love is so wonderful. So I can't get over it. So
Like everything here, the service is high energy. Enough energy to make a non-believer smile.
Nobody shows favor like Jesus. Nobody. No.
What I tell you, or even show you next, will not do Lagos justice. This is a city you have to feel if you're to have any hope understanding it. More than 26 million people, every single one of them striving and selling constantly. For a laid-back Californian, the energy here is exhilarating and sometimes unnerving. I've never seen anything quite like it.
I am here at the largest market in Lagos. As you can see, it's barely controlled chaos. It's just block after block after block, selling everything you can possibly imagine. It's like this just every day?
Yep.
What, everybody just comes here to get all kinds of stuff?
Anything. Literally almost anything at best prices.
Michael here is a local entrepreneur and solver of problems, and my much-needed guide to the market.
We're on this street, which is pretty busy, but I mean, there's streets in there where there's like no cars, just
cars can't even get through, so the whole market. You literally have to squeeze your way through, you know, so it's pretty intense. So you can hear? They keep shouting, Oyinbo. That's white man.
That's what they're saying?
Yeah.
The kissing sound, is that considered rude, or that's just like standard operating procedure?
It's standard operating procedure to get someone's attention.
Yeah. Seems like a hard way to make a living, man.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But some people make good money here as well.
Yeah?
You get it from the lowest prices, and you sell it for however smart you can sell it for.
Locals will be quick to tell you that Lagos is the beating heart of Nigeria, and that Nigeria is the beating heart of Africa. And they'll also tell you that if Lagos could fix some things, its infrastructure, its corruption, its old ways of thinking, well, then there's a historic economic revolution at the ready, led by a nascent tech scene that is ready to boom. And no one wants to see this happen more than this man, who most people call E.
My full name is Oluwaboyoji, but most people can't pronounce it, so everybody calls me E, just the letter. I'm the founding partner of the Fund for Africa's Future.
Africa has 7 tech startups valued at more than $1 billion, and he started 2 of them, Andela and Flutterwave. He's often hailed as the Zuck or Musk of Nigeria, although in this case, that's meant as a compliment.
Starting a startup here was not easy. I read something about you guys getting kicked out of offices.
Oh
and
man, that's
scammed,
stories for
what was
days.
going on?
Most people assumed if you had a computer, you were a Yahoo boy.
Yeah. Is Yahoo Boy, is that a
Yeah, that's
Nigerian name?
That's
or
a
is that
Nigerian term.
Okay. And that's why, is this the scams people always...
Scams,
Okay.
yeah. So people who do scams, we call them Yahoo boys.
Okay.
Yeah. No disrespect to Yahoo. I should probably take that off and say something else.
We're actually in the part of Lagos where you grew up, I think.
Yes.
Right?
I lived here.
But what is this part called?
It's called Yaba.
How close is this to where you actually grew
Not
up?
far. I could walk. My house where I was born is maybe a 45-minute walk from here. And I went to primary school literally right over those rail tracks.
Okay. Could we have a little drive around? Just see
Yeah,
some
we'll
of
drive around.
The
We'll see-
haunts
we'll
from your
see-
childhood?
We'll see everything.
Yeah.
The population of Lagos has exploded over the past 20 years. The result is unplanned, unzoned, put anything anywhere you can havoc. That said, much of the business and wealth is clustered on Victoria Island, which people describe as the Manhattan of Lagos. Even though he's well off now, he very purposefully rejected living on the island to stick to his youthful and tech roots in Yaba.
When you say this is the ground zero of tech, do
Yeah,
startups
the startups,
set
talent,
up
the
here?
talent live.
Yeah.
Just cheapest, best place to live.
So kind of where all the startups, the dot-coms hang out?
Yeah.
The startups are here, in large part, because of the local university.
So we are on the campus of University of Lagos, which is one of the most amazing universities, and that's why Yaba is in such proximity, because the talent found it easier to waft over.
Yeah, so there's a nice interplay between the part of town and the university.
Exactly. A lot of youth here.
Yeah, getting ready to go do big things.
But to do big things in Lagos, you have to master how Lagos works. And learn how to navigate its unique flavor of business customs.
When I was at Andela, people didn't know how we did it, but we had 300 kids. They were working there with 300 MacBooks, each worth $1,000, back and forth every day in this neighborhood. People were like, how did you do that? But it was in the neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch, in this case, refers to the Lagosian phenomenon of area boys. These are people who control neighborhoods in an unofficial but very real capacity. One word to describe the area boys might be mafia. This sounds bad, and there's some truth to it. Many people here, though, don't really trust the police to begin with. And the area boys are a more local force for maintaining order. The trick is to learn how to operate within the system.
I gave their leader a title. It was my chief security officer. Gave him a badge, gave him a package, including health insurance for all his guys. And we were good. We made sure everybody was safe. The whole neighborhood was safe. But if you don't know Nigeria, it can be a very hard place to do business. The moment you understand.
E's business savvy showed itself early in life. As a kid, he helped his mom hawk stockfish and ice blocks in the streets, and he discovered that he was pretty good at it.
I just picked up entrepreneurship skills very, very easily. I imagine it came from ultimately being the kind of kid who really liked money.
Like money.
I loved money. I loved money. I remember when I was growing up, I wanted to be a policeman because I saw they were the only ones who were taking money from the drivers. I didn't understand then that they weren't supposed to. And my dad made a very, very significant decision. His children would all go to the best possible school, even if he couldn't ordinarily afford it.
He went to Canada to continue his education. In the tech hotspot of Waterloo, Ontario, he and a few friends discovered their calling.
You had a little Nigerian crew in Canada at Waterloo.
I pulled my people with me. I started to tell my Nigerian people, look, there's a lot more to this school than just getting the degree and staying here, trying to get a passport. At the time, our motivations weren't so noble. I mean, we wanted to just make money for ourselves.
He convinced his friends to abandon their secure career paths in North America, come back to Nigeria, and try to make it big in tech. In 2014, they started Andela, which aimed to train up a new generation of Nigerian coders and get them remote gigs from around the world. It was the right idea at the right time, and it became a smashing success. That allowed E to start his payments company, Flutterwave, another smashing success.
If somebody would have told you you would create $2 billion companies, would you?
Never believe it. But you know one thing I would say? I did have faith that we would do something big.
Yeah.
I just didn't know it was going to be this big, this soon.
Nigeria's tech scene has been on a good run. But its long-term prospects face the same challenges as other industries in the country. The power infrastructure is a terrible mess. There are blackouts almost daily, and people rely on diesel generators to get by. Its roads and accompanying traffic are just as bad. The political system is in constant turmoil. Few people I talked to trusted any political regime. In general, conditions are unstable, and it's hard to get things done.
Everyone I talk to here is optimistic about the future, but people always point back to the infrastructure, not really changing much or upgrading for decades.
The reality is, our infrastructure has been this way for ages because we have lacked for a long time the investment to make it any better. When I talk to American capital, I think the images of the starving kid with a fly on their nose is so stuck in their heads that actually it's a lot easier to have a conversation with them about philanthropy than it is about investment.
He knows of what he speaks. He has gone to the heart of VC land and was rather curiously dismissed in spite of his multi-billion-dollar track record.
I sort of arrived Silicon Valley thinking that what I had done in Africa would matter, but it didn't.
That's kind of twisted because if somebody had done the same thing in the US, people would be falling all over them.
It is a different standard to some extent. But I think it's better because we've now learned to be very self-assured and confident in what we do here.
Uninterested in waiting for foreign capital to find Nigeria and Africa, E has taken matters into his own hands. His Future Africa Fund has invested in about 50 startups here. One is a company called Relief, which is trying to modernize the business of Nigerian farming. It was co-founded in 2017 by this fella, Ekene Nzewi. He's Nigerian by background, but was raised in the US.
Everything here comes with a negotiation, and like every step.
Small price,
How did you get used to this, or how did you figure this all out?
So I wasn't used to it at first. No, I wasn't used to it at first. I started meditating, and that actually did me a lot of good.
You've got this mix of machines and then software and technology. Maybe should we start with the Kraken?
Yeah, let's start with Kraken.
The Kraken is basically a really well-made nutcracker. Sadly, no tentacles are involved. The idea is to automate some of the production of palm oil, a process that's often done by hand here.
So when you're cracking open the nuts, you want to apply enough force that you crack the shell, but not that you crack the kernel that's within the shell. It's kind of like this perfect medium that you have to find between the two.
And like true tech tryhards, they use satellites and AI to locate new customers.
This really funky map, that is basically our ability to see farms from space and then go and meet the farmers.
So to do this, some AI was just trained up to be able to spot the pattern of the shape
of those triangle-shaped trees. Everywhere the orange touches is where an oil palm farm is.
What called you back to the country and called you to do farming in particular?
I think it was a mix of like my passion for seeing economic development in Africa and also just the period of time that we are living in. Africa is really in the period where it can boom. And so this is actually the point in time to create solutions that will expand into a large piece of market share over the next 10 years.
Other startups in Yi's portfolio are more like your typical Silicon Valley joint. Think app-based delivery services for urban professionals, though with a particularly Lagosian twist. Eden Life is one example. The company was started by Nad Enegesi, a BFF of E. He's one of the original crew of Nigerians who met in Canada and became the tech kings of Lagos.
You became like maybe I'm wrong, it seems like the Nigerian equivalent of the PayPal mafia or something like that, right? You started so many companies, and are you guys...
Like, are we like celebrities?
Here? Yeah.
No, we're not.
After helping build Andela with E, Nad set out on his own with Eden Life. The company delivers food and does a smattering of other chores, like laundry and gardening, for busy middle-class Nigerians.
It's these services of day-to-day life to free up more time for you to do whatever you want to be doing. Is that the basic idea?
Yes, exactly. Everybody is like tremendous talent. Everybody is working harder and harder every day to try to make it, but there's different roadblocks in the way.
Yeah.
For example, if you're living in a place like Lagos and you're going to work every day, you're probably spending like 5 to 6 hours in traffic.
He's not kidding about the traffic at all. To get to Victoria Island and its sweet, sweet opportunities, people have to cross this bridge every day. It's 2 hours one way, if you're lucky. Eden Life aims to help people claw back some of that time, and ultimately to become the go-to app for all manner of services.
We describe what we are building as the operating system for life, where you can find all of these things in one place.
Nad certainly has Silicon Valley speak down cold, though personally, I'm not sure I want an operating system for life. Still, Eden Life represents the next stage in Nigeria's tech evolution. The country has a seemingly infinite number of mobile payment companies, and of course, crypto everything. What it needs now are new ideas and lots of them.
So, like Andela, Flutterwave, I mean, had huge international investors. You know, are those sort of one-offs, or now those investors have seen the success here and that's brought in more, or is it still really hard to get international capital for startups?
It's definitely easier than it was in 2014. I'll say that by orders of magnitude, right? For multiple reasons. One is the amount of talent that's here. And so we're seeing a lot more startups get funded. The flywheel is definitely spinning.
The Andela Mafia is a lot like the PayPal Mafia, but with less ketamine and fomenting of civil unrest. Nonetheless, it seemed like fun to reminisce with the Nigerian coding kingpins over spicy goat pepper stew. The two close friends met at school in Canada, then came back to Lagos in 2013 to chase their startup dreams.
So how old were you when you met then, like 16 or something? Yeah, okay, yeah, so what'd you think?
Yeah, so my first impression of E was, why is this guy so grown up right now? He was always helping people with their essays.
Yeah, I read a lot of essays. I was like, yeah, to be fair, the Russian kids were paying me, so.
When you told your parents you were all coming back to do this thing after everybody's gotten to Canada, everyone was okay, or they tried to talk you out of it?
Mine was an all-out war, because keep in mind, I was already here, right? They're just like, you should have tried harder to find a job. What do you mean you can't find a job?
For me, it was just, I was ready. I was like, yeah, this is the adventure of a lifetime.
Everybody had to sleep on the floor because we couldn't afford a bed. So it was real hustle.
Proper startup life, man. Yeah.
It was really bad. Back then, I used to drink a lot. We used to do something called Breakfast of Champions. A vodka shot and some Red Bull.
I've had this breakfast of champions. Was it scary, or was it like you said, it was just exciting and you just had to see it through?
Well, to be fair, this man right here is a very sacrificial man, and he put in a lot to make the transition smooth.
I try to keep all the scary parts away from the team.
Fine.
The shorthand for what these men are talking about is passion.
Did you go to this facility? Yeah.
It's what drove them to build their companies, and it's what's driving them now to try and set Nigeria on a new course. And the good news is that if Nigeria has anything in ample quantity, it's passion.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bloomberg Open Mic Night. Any kind of talent, please let me know and we will get your name on the list.
It's Thursday night in Lagos. I'm at the Bogobiri House all week. People have been telling me to come here, see some spoken word, some music, all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna go in.
Please make some noise for Senior Boy in the building.
As with any open mic night, there's a range of quality.
God bless Nigeria.
But the best acts are face-meltingly great. That greatness has made Nigerian music a global phenomenon, offering proof of the massive stage on which Nigeria can play.
Thank you so much.
But to really talk about Nigeria as a cultural force, we have to talk about one extraordinary man. The charismatic, controversial, and legendary musician, Fela Kuti, who kicked off the Afrobeat movement in the 1960s. Fela merged Nigerian sound with jazz, soul, and the blues. He sang about love and life, and also about the plight of his people. Fela went right at the government and what he saw as its corruption and neglect. He was an artist and a revolutionary, all rolled up into one. People still come to pay tribute at this club that acts as a kind of shrine to Fela. Here you can bask in the aura of the great man and peruse various memorabilia. I would comment on this exhibit, but this is a family show.
Hi, man, Clinton is my name. I'm on the microphone. Let them know we don't play right now. Let's go.
What Kuti started with Afrobeat has since morphed into Afro beats, a glorious profusion of West African pop styles. These are the sounds of the country heard on every street corner, in every club, and in every home. And this music has washed over the entire world, turning Nigerian artists like Burna Boy and Wizkid into global icons. One of the heavy hitters of this scene is Banky Wellington, a singer and rapper turned entertainment mogul.
Yes, you are far from the regular.
So it started as me as an artist, to me starting a record label and discovering other artists and producers and DJs and music business executives all kind of got their start with us. And then over the years, we've morphed into movies. I'm a filmmaker. I've co-executive produced some films that have done pretty well.
Yeah. You and your wife seem like the celebrity couple of Nigeria, from what I could gather, man.
I'll let you say that.
Benki believes in Nigeria, which is why he came back to live here after going to university in New York. He's even run for political office, hoping to create more opportunities for young people. But not everyone who leaves Nigeria is quite so eager to return.
I remember when I told my folks that I wanted to move back to Nigeria, because my parents don't live here anymore. I mean, they haven't lived here for a few decades. I remember my folks said, "You want to sing? Sing in New York City. The people are singing there. Like, what are you going back to Nigeria to do?" A lot of noise has been made about the Japa syndrome. People.
What is that?
Oh, Japa is when people leave. They go for other opportunities outside of the country. And you know, we've seen quite a few of our bright minds do that.
Nigeria suffers from a deep brain drain, holding back the country's tech scene from reaching its full potential. Increasingly, though, Nigerians who have made it overseas are returning with their skills and their money, sometimes permanently, sometimes in more of a hybrid fashion. One of these people is Kunle, a deal maker with Capricorn Investment Group. Kunle grew up in Nigeria and has made Africa his focus as an investor.
So did you guys grow up pretty middle class, upper class?
You know, I think from the perspective that I look at it, I would say middle class. But I think my parents made a lot of sacrifices for us. And I only know this looking back. I studied chemical engineering and had the opportunity to go to the US to do that.
Did you ever think you'd be coming back to Africa to build startups?
No, but I have about 30 plus companies that I've invested in now, not just in Nigeria, but across the continent.
Kunle brought me 3 hours north of Lagos to Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State.
This is cool, man. It's so different than Lagos. Seems like one notch down, frenetic.
Yeah, definitely one notch down.
Yeah.
We had two missions: to meet one of Kunle's friends, a local politician, and to visit Kunle's grandmother. First, though, we'd have to get gas. That's not a scene we'd usually put in the show. Then again, it usually doesn't look like this. To understand what's going on here takes a bit of explaining. Shortly after I arrived in Nigeria, a new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, took office. His first major act was to end the government's subsidies for gasoline. This triggered an immediate panic throughout the country. People rushed to gas stations to try and beat price hikes. The gas stations were then barricaded in a bid to control the situation. And simply filling up your car became an ordeal. The underlying problem here is that Nigeria has lots of oil, but no refineries to process it. Oil is exported, refined, and then brought back, with Nigeria usually getting the dregs of the production. Africa's richest person, Aliko Dangote, just paid close to $20 billion to build the first new modern refinery in the country.
You're building one of the largest refineries in the world?
Yes, it's 650,000 barrels a day.
So there's hope that with the right investments, things can improve. But such examples are few and far between. These economic woes make it even harder for tech to flourish here. And almost no one seems to believe that the government can make things better. Except apparently for this man, Bayo Okonde.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but some people are cynical about the government here, you know, and how much progress.
What do you mean we're not aware about that? Like, what are you talking about?
Actually, I was one of those people 4 years ago, and I think we can be on the outside
and complain forever, or we can actually try to come in and make a change.
Bayo is a former entrepreneur who decided to go into politics. His mission has been to modernize the government of Oyo State and lay the groundwork for tech companies to set up shop here.
We're very interested in internet penetration. So we've laid fiber cables, fiber ducts, almost 1,000 over the past few years. We're planning to do a couple thousand more.
Yeah, they always say the second high-speed internet lights up in a country, its education improves, job prospects improve, all of that.
Bayo is also putting technology to work, fighting graft, which many Nigerians say runs rampant throughout the government here.
We were talking, too, about if $12 billion goes to the construction of a new road, only $2 billion actually make it to the road after sort of money's changed hands.
So what we've done here, for example, one of the first things we did was every single contract procurement should be put online. The whole process is transparent, and the monies to be disbursed also online. So full information transparency across the entire process.
All this, Bayo hopes, can make life a little better and easier for everyday Nigerians and help convince young tech entrepreneurs that they should build their futures here.
If you can just make life a little better for them, nobody wants to leave home.
Yeah.
You know, if they can, they would stay here and thrive here, maybe earn from there, but live here. So it's policies, man, so.
I mean, I trust Bayo. He seems nice and well-intentioned. But for the real talk on The Real Nigeria, I knew where we had to go next.
Welcome to Ibadan. This is my grandma's home.
Thank you.
Lots of fun memories here. So let's go say hi to Grandma. Hello, Grandma. Oh, good to see you, Grandma. This is Ashlee.
Hello.
Ashlee, Grandma.
Thank you.
Mrs. Grace Somatayo Apampa was born in Nigeria, went to college in England, and came back in 1959, just a year before independence.
Is that you?
No, that's not.
She worked at the University of Nigeria's teaching hospital while raising several kids. And she remains a mom at heart.
The gentleman, let them eat it now. You only give them one. And
Grandma, they're busy, that's why. They're busy with the cameras.
Tell them to help themselves then.
Okay, yes, please help yourselves.
My grandchildren are all over, they're scattered all over.
Are all over the world?
I'm happy that they're all over the world.
Okay.
But I miss them.
Yeah.
Madam Grace has witnessed generations of change here, but still keeps a sharp eye on current events.
I just learned about the refinery on this visit. I mean, the country should be refining its own oil. Yeah.
We send the crude oil. We sell it to foreigners.
Yeah.
They return it to us at an exorbitant rate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. How do you feel about the youth, the youngsters, and do they give you hope for where the country is heading?
I think the future is bright for them. But we have to come together. They have to come home, do this thing together.
Together, yeah.
Not running away. You have to be together, stay and do it.
She's talking to you.
Yeah, she is talking to me. I accept the challenge.
Back in Lagos, you can find a number of startups that Kunle has backed, with an eye toward making real change for everyday Nigerians. Tech investors have claimed such noble intentions since at least the Stone Age.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to Video Class.
But here in Nigeria, there's a case to be made that tech might actually make things better.
V, W, X, Y, and Z.
Take TISAS. They make an education app and low-cost tablet for kids, and also run in-person learning centers like this one, with the goal of making quality education available for even the poorest households. It was started by Osai, a Nigerian and former Exxon executive.
Today's May 27th, and apparently is Children's Day. And is this like an Africa-wide holiday, or this is a Nigerian?
So it's mainly Nigerian.
Okay.
We create a special day for the children where we just celebrate them, give them a good time.
Okay, now we're going to stretch ourselves.
The way Osai sees it, the education in Nigerian public schools is barely adequate. TSAS aims to fill in the gaps and get kids ready for college and life, all for just a few dollars a month.
We're focused on the whole child, not just academics, right? Yes, we prepare them for exams, but we also want them to start developing core values that would help them throughout their entire lives, like being proactive, right?
Social emotional learning. Can you say that? Social emotional learning.
In here, they have access to the best and the brightest tutors and learning coaches across the country.
Happy Children's Day! Happy Children's Day!
Another Kunle-backed company trying to make things better in Nigeria is Farms to You. It's run by Aisha Rahim, who spent a few years working in finance in London before returning to her homeland.
I do go back and forth because I also naturalized in England, so they're both my homes. And the two cities I've lived long term, Lagos, London.
Yeah.
Two mad houses, but lots of entrepreneurial spirit. So I love those cities.
Like TSAS, Farms to You is not super flashy, but it is incredibly useful. The company makes software for farmers, helping them figure out what types of crops buyers want, when the best time is to sell a harvest, and even how to get loans.
You've probably got people who have, their family's been farming for many, many, many years, and then you're kind of coming in, with some new ideas, and then also you have to get the technology in their hands.
In terms of even convincing them and getting them to think about things in a more technology-oriented way, it's actually something they're more open to because of the impact of climate change. The rains are coming in later, they're coming in heavier. So for instance, last year in Nigeria, we experienced one of the heaviest floods that we've seen in the last decade. And this is why they're more receptive and really trying to understand how can I do things better, because they're playing with very thin margins.
Needless to say, Nigerian farming logistics is not the easiest business to be in. But for Aisha, the challenges are kind of the point.
You see a pothole on the road, that's an opportunity. There isn't constant light, that is an opportunity. There is corruption as the traditional sense, that's opportunity. What is actually corruption? It's just that systems are not in place to capture certain activities. Because what might be called corruption in Nigeria might be called lobbying in the US.
Right.
What might be called a bribe in Nigeria might be called a service fee in the UK. What is in Nigeria is a systems problem. It's not a people problem. It's systems and processes that need to be in place.
By now, I was feeling so inspired by the possibilities of Nigerian tech, I felt like I wanted to get involved personally. So I got myself an entry-level job at a startup, delivering food to customers all over Lagos. Little did I know how intense this job would get later on.
Over here, we have the spaghetti. We have spaghetti here.
And oil.
Yes.
My new employer is a company called Groceries, which aims to sell staple foods at the lowest possible cost. They work directly with suppliers like Aisha's company Farms to You to buy food in bulk and pass on the savings to low-income Lagosians.
So this is the app.
Okay.
My tenure at Groceries started out well enough.
We're doing the gold order. All right.
You pack the food at a warehouse.
All right, I'll follow you.
You pop it in a delivery vehicle.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
Then you drive through the crazy streets of Lagos to reach your hungry customer.
Lagos is a kind of a very busy place. Sometimes it's stressful. Traffic, so many things.
You listen to podcasts? What do you?
Finally, you arrive at the customer, where, because you have a film crew with you, all hell breaks loose. We'd already had a few encounters with the so-called area boys, Lagos's neighborhood enforcers. But these guys were particularly aggressive with their threats of violence.
All right, our arrival wasn't that appreciated. A little money was exchanged, I think, and now we're gonna go deliver the groceries. Well, I'm sorry we made your day more hectic. All right, man, it was nice meeting you. Enjoy the groceries. Cheers.
Sadly, that was the end of my career as a Nigerian delivery man. To ease the pain of my failure, Kunle and his friend Michael took me for a relaxing boat ride. Destination, Elisha Beach, a resort area just outside the city, where chill vibes can be found at last.
People from Lagos come out here just to relax, or from all
to
over?
relax, to escape the chaos of the actual city.
Yeah. Tell me how you guys met.
Goes as far back as well, primary school days, I reckon, before he moved to the States. And I've been here just keeping things going, I guess.
But you know everybody. He's got all the connections because he's stayed.
If there's anyone that's plugged in.
Michael has made the most of his decision to stay. He now runs a business as a kind of high-end fixer and guide to all things Lagos.
Shout out to the Afrobeats artists. They're making Africa, Nigeria, Lagos so popular. Everyone is trying to come back here.
How much do you get when you come back? People trying to recruit you to come home and...
I think it's a mutual understanding that, you know, maybe we playfully use it, but people understand the whys, right? I think whether you stay here or you live abroad, our goal is just to make Lagos, Nigeria, a better home for all of us. Community, food, health, education. I think if those basic infrastructures existed, you see less people wanting to move. They will still struggle, but they will know that like the basic needs are met.
Yeah.
And they would much rather want to stay here than go live somewhere else.
Because it's home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Kunle and Michael continued telling me about their many prospective business ventures and their hopes and dreams for their country.
Good to see you, man. Thank you.
Seeing Nigeria through their eyes, it's easy to imagine a bright future. The truth, at least for me, is that there's something intoxicating about this country. Its problems are so obvious. Most of the country's people are struggling. There's dysfunction everywhere. So many of Nigeria's best and brightest people have fled for brighter prospects elsewhere. But in the end, there's that energy. The people who've stayed feel it and thrive on it. Anyone visiting will feel it too. It's a kind of vibrating hum that should be and could be the backdrop for great things.